I grew up in a small town surrounded by forests, the kind of place where everyone knew everyone, and your entertainment was either bonfires, back roads, or hiking trails that led nowhere. You get used to the quiet after a while. The problem is, quiet isn't always empty. Sometimes it's waiting. When I was 17, my best friend and I thought it would be funny to camp out in the old woods near Miller's Creek. Everyone said those woods were cursed, not in the cool witches and rituals kind of way, just wrong. People went missing. Hunters came back with their dogs half dead from fear. Once a kid in my grade swore he heard someone calling his name out there, even though he was alone. Of course, we didn't believe it. Teenagers think they're invincible, right? So we packed some snacks, a cheap tent, and a flashlight, and set out one Friday evening. The hike in was normal enough. The trees swallowed the sun quicker than expected, and by the time we found a clearing, the air was already cooling. It was too quiet. No bugs, no frogs croaking by the creek, just the crunch of our boots and the sound of our own voices. We set up the tent, lit a little fire, and joked about ghosts. The first weird thing happened around midnight. I heard someone laughing. It wasn't close, but it wasn't far either. A man's laugh, deep and quick, like he'd just heard something funny and couldn't stop. My friend froze, marshmallow halfway to his mouth. "You heard that too, right?" he asked. Before I could answer, it came again, this time closer. Not the same laugh, though. This one was higher, like a woman mocking us. It echoed strangely, bouncing through the trees, like the woods were a hallway instead of wide open. We killed the fire fast. My friend said it was probably other kids messing with us, but deep down we both knew no one else was stupid enough to camp out there. That's when the voices started saying our names. At first it was mine, soft, like my mom calling me from another room. Then his, drawn out, like someone savoring the sound. Over and over the voices circled us. Some sounded familiar, others didn't. Some were almost whispers, right next to our ears. We sat back to back, flashlight trembling between us. I remember thinking if the light went out, we'd be done for. I don't know why. It wasn't logical, just a bone-deep certainty that the dark was hungry. Hours crawled by. We tried not to move, tried not to breathe loud. Every once in a while, one of the voices would laugh again. This horrible, wet laugh that made my stomach twist. Then came the footsteps, leaves crunching, twigs snapping, circling us just outside the beam of the flashlight. We aimed it everywhere, but the second the light touched the trees, the sounds would stop. Aim it somewhere else, they'd start again. It was like we were surrounded by dozens of things that didn't want to be seen. Around 3 a.m., the flashlight flickered. I've never prayed harder in my life. My friend grabbed my arm so tight, his nails dug into my skin. "If it goes out," he whispered, "we run." But where? Every direction was just more forest. Still, I nodded. The voices grew louder. They weren't whispers anymore. They were yelling, screaming our names, laughing so hard it sounded like choking. The footsteps were running now, charging toward us, stopping just before breaking into the light. Then, in unison, every voice said the same thing. "Look." We didn't want to. We couldn't help it. The flashlight steadied just for a second and lit up the edge of the clearing. There were faces, dozens of them peeking from behind trees, hanging upside down from branches, crawling on the ground, faces too pale, too stretched, with eyes too wide. They looked human, but wrong in every possible way, like mannequins trying to imitate people. We bolted, left the tent, the food, everything. Just ran until our lungs burned. The voices chased us the whole way, shrieking and laughing, but they never left the tree line once we broke into the open field near the road. We never went back for our stuff. A week later, one of the local farmers found the tent ripped to shreds, like something had clawed it apart from the inside. It's been years, but I still can't stand being in the woods alone. Sometimes even walking my dog near the tree line, I swear I hear it. That laugh, like they're waiting for me to come back.